Hey everybody, welcome back. My name is Destiny, and in this video I am taking this very chunky, outdated piece of furniture and giving it a whole new life. This piece of furniture has been sitting in my workshop for about a year and a half now. It's just been taking up way too much space, so it is time to do something with it. It is obviously very filthy, so the first thing we're going to do is remove the hardware so that we can give it a very good scrub down. I'm sure I will get some backlash from somebody, but I am not going to keep this hardware. It is just too bulky. It's just not fitting for this piece. I want to modernize it, and this is not doing anything for it. So I will be throwing this hardware away. I am using Simple Green for my cleaning product today. This is just a very good degreaser. If you use this product, do not forget that you have to rinse this product off before you start painting. Otherwise, your paint's just not going to stick properly. I finally got a little scrub brush for my drill, but I'm not going to leave a link for this set that I got just because it's not that great. It felt like a one-time use. The bristles were very matted at the end. They're not good, so I'm not going to leave these in the description. I like to have multiple cleaning sessions because I just feel like the first round doesn't do it. This is the third round of cleaning, and this is the fourth round. Guys, I don't mess around when it comes to cleaning furniture. I like my product to be clean. That means also vacuuming the insides of the drawers. Now, a majority of the drawers looked like this. So I had to take my heat gun to warm it up and scrape it off because I just could not get it off without a heat gun. But this really helped. I just have a simple Wagner heat gun that I picked up from an estate sale for like $7 or $8. Guys, you do not need super expensive fancy equipment to flip furniture. I'm giving everything a really good vacuum once again because I like a clean start, and then I'm going in with my Simple Green and getting all of the oils and whatever else is in there so that my wallpaper will stick at the end. And once again, I like my products to be clean for my customers, so I do a very thorough cleaning of the inside of the dresser also. And because all the drawers are out, I flipped the dresser to the back side so that I can get the underneath, because spiders have made a very comfortable home for themselves. But we don't want to see that. We want to get rid of all of the spider webs. So I noticed that the base was pulling away from the bottom of the dresser. So we're just going to go ahead and remove it. And next we are going to get rid of this little detail piece. It's pretty much just glued on. So I'm going to take my little putty knife and a hammer and I'm just going to chisel it away. I'm going to do the same with the front, although this is just a solid piece of wood. So I'm going to take my like little chalk line and pop. And then I'm going to take my jigsaw and cut it off. Yep, that happened. I broke it. Okay, there is no more time to be sad. I'm going to go ahead and pivot and I'm going to work on the top of the dresser. I am going to sand it down to the raw wood and I'm using an 80 grit sandpaper. And because I still need to cut that little piece of trim off the bottom of the dresser, I'm not going to waste my time using a 120 and a 220 grit after I'm done with this grit to make it smooth right now, only because I still have to flip it back over on the top and I don't want to scuff it and get it all messed up and having to sand it again. So I'm just going to use the 80 grit for now, and when I cut that trim off, then I will go back and sand the top very smooth. Now I'm just going to work on filling the old hardware holes, and I love Bondo. If you know, you know, and if you don't know, you should know, because Bondo is the best. I think I have decided, since I got this dresser for free, that I'm going to do a little experiment, which I'm a little nervous about because I don't know what's under here. I think I'm going to try to remove this part, only because I think it's too bulky and these doors are pretty heavy. So I think if I try to take a little weight off the front, it would help with the weight overall of the dresser. I know this is a pretty small piece considering, but again, these are very solid doors. So I think if I just take a little bit of weight off, it would just be better. I'm a little nervous because I don't know if this pattern is gonna be under here, but I think I'm willing to see, only because I got it for free. So I think I can work around if it's not the same. We're just gonna get into it. I had amazing luck getting the first piece off the door. This took me literally like 2 minutes, but the other door was a joke. I struggled and struggled and struggled. That literally took me 30 minutes. Moving on. I have just recently bought these little foam pads that attach to your sander. They are supposed to be like the surf prep foam pads that attach to the sander that are good for getting curves so you don't mess up, the wood curve. They're pretty good. I will leave a link in the description for this. But of course, with my luck, my sander is still too big for this area. So I did have to do hand sanding on the Bondo, which was a pain in the butt. I finally have gotten a new jigsaw. I have the Black & Decker jigsaw now, and I absolutely love it. I almost wish I would have gotten a new one sooner. This one is so great. Highly recommend. I asked my hubby to build me yet another custom base for this dresser, but this one I wanted to do a little bit differently. I wanted them to have angled legs. So I'm cutting well, not me, my husband is cutting a 10-degree angle on the base and the legs so that they sit at an angle compared to straight up and down like he usually builds them. In order to attach this base to the dresser, I need to create pocket holes, and I'm just going to use my Craig jig to do that. And since this piece is angled, I don't want to drill holes like this. I want to make it as straight as I can. So I'm going to clamp it so that only one corner is touching the edge. Your pocket hole will sit too far back and you won't be able to screw the leg onto the base. Now that I have finally attached the base, I can finish sanding down the rest of the dresser. And that means I can do the top also. The top I finished off with a 120 grit sandpaper and then a 220 to make sure it was very smooth. Now that everything is smooth, I am working on mixing up a paint wash. I'm using the color Perfect Khaki by Sherwin-Williams. It's a beautiful neutral color, and I'm mixing it probably 75% water, 25% paint. Now that we are all done with prep and the paint wash, I'm going to start on the primer. I'm using the Bullseye 123 primer. It is water-based, so it is easy cleanup, and I'm loading it into my Wagner Flexio 4000 spray gun. And I always like to add just a little bit of water so it flows out of my spray gun just a little easier. I will be spraying on 2 coats of primer, but you only see one. So usually I am totally okay with texture. I like the wood grain texture, but this piece here that I removed, it's very smooth and I don't like the difference. So I'm just gonna take my Bondo glaze and spot putty and just, fill in these grooves so it all kind of matches. Time for paint, my favorite part. I'm going to use this Bear color that I used to paint wash the top. This color is called Perfect Khaki. And again, there is the paint code. You can pause for it. It's a beautiful neutral color. Then I like to add some water to my paint just to thin it down so it flows out of my spray gun easier. Now that everything is painted, I will be top coating. I'm using the Bare Premium Polyurethane. This has been my go-to lately. I absolutely love it. I highly recommend. Before I start spraying, I'm going to use a 400 grit sandpaper to go over the top just to make sure that everything is super smooth before I put my top coat on. In order to get a very smooth and shiny top, I really like to use a 1000 grit sandpaper. And this is after the first coat of top coat is completely dry. You're going to spray your water down. You are going to very, very lightly sand the top down until it's smooth. When you go to wipe up the water and the sanding dust, there should be almost nothing on your towel. Adding a few final touches, I chose this beautiful red poppy peel and stick wallpaper. And a quick reminder of what this dresser used to look like. If you've made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you. I hope that I've earned your subscription today. Don't forget to like and leave a comment. It helps small channels like mine grow. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next one.